Welcome back to the City Current Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference, empowering the good. And in this case, we're talking about the importance and the power of oral health care. We're honored to be joined by the CEO of Interfaith Dental, Dr. Rhonda Switzer-Nadasdi. How are you doing?
Just great. Thank you.
Well, you all are doing tremendous good. And so let's start with a little background, a little bit of history for Interfaith Dental. Go ahead and give us some history, and then we'll dive into the good work you do.
Well, Interfaith's been around a long time. In fact, 2024, we will celebrate our 30th year anniversary. So we had a pretty humble start in the basement of West End United Methodist Church, and we saw the first patient fall of 1994, and it was a effort of members of the church along with members of the Nashville Dental Society that saw a need and wanted to fill that gap. Sorry for the pun. In oral health.
When you look at the individuals that Interfaith Dental serves, paint the picture, because I think in many cases, one, it's a broad spectrum, but two is it's a lot of individuals and families who are working who struggle on that line of putting food on the table and having the oral health. And so talk about the individuals and the families who you all serve at Interfaith Dental.
Right. There's many reasons people are here. Most is because they're uninsured and low income, but there's other reasons not to have access to care, right? You may have Medicaid or insurance product that it's hard to find a provider. So in general, our folks are living below 400% of poverty level. Most are working 1, 2, sometimes 3 jobs, but don't have enough income to prioritize oral health. And the longer you go without getting regular care, the more it's going to cost. Kind of like when you let your lawn go, now you got to restart, resaw, do everything.
Talk about then the power, the importance of oral health, because the mouth, your teeth, that's the gateway to everything, right? You know, what you eat is the fuel for your body. And so talk about the importance of oral health.
You're right. Your mouth does reveal a lot about what is inside you. And if you clean your teeth and spit in the sink and see a little blood there, right? You think, oh, that's just a little gingivitis. No, that's serious. That's inflammation starting, and that inflammation affects your whole body health. We know that there's a relationship between diabetes and oral health, heart disease and oral health, certain cancers. So it's really important. Our mouth is part of the body, right? And a very vital part in keeping us overall healthy. And then, of course, there's the social, psychological aspect of oral health. The first thing your listeners are doing is looking at our smiles as we're talking. So that's really important for confidence, but also for employment opportunities and just being around friends and being able to do the thing we all love, which is eat together, and being able to do that with confidence. So smiling, eating with confidence.
So go ahead and dive into the good work you do at Interfaith Dental. And obviously the oral hygiene is a piece of that, but you do so much. So go ahead and dive into the work and efforts for Interfaith Dental.
So for each person, we try to meet them where they are as to what their knowledge is about oral health, but also what their life situation has been. Some people haven't been to the office since they were a little kid. Some never been before at all. Some have had lots of dental work before, and now it's just time for it to be redone, replaced. So it's meeting everybody where they are. We partner the treatment with education, but also motivation on how to keep it up. So, I mean, no sense buying something unless you're able to continue to look after it. So it's all part of that process. Most of the folks we see at least once a month, and it can take as long as a year before we can say together that they've reached their goal of wellness. So we provide every dentistry service that can be provided. So that includes implants and dentures and root canals and everything. And our staff is very talented, but we rely on specialists in the community that donate their time, and general dentists and other specialists that actually come into the clinic and help serve our patients there.
And you read my mind because that's exactly where I was going next, was talk about your team and talk about the volunteers. So go ahead and talk about your team for sure, and then elaborate a little bit more on that kind of volunteer aspect of, how you operate and are able to do what you do, keeping those overhead costs so low.
Right. So every day is a organized chaos, but it's a variety of people serving. So there'll be volunteers there as well as paid staff. And then we have some partnerships with, we have Vanderbilt oral surgery residents that are with us, and we have a residency program for general dentists. So they're there. We have TSU hygiene students with us. We have other dental assistants in training. We have a Smile Squad of young folks that want to be in the dental profession that help out. So there's a wide variety of providers. The paid staff / faculty, volunteer greeters, we all have a lot of experience. So it's a very robust team, and we're able to manage most things that people present with needing help with.
Give us an idea of a success story, one that pops into your head recently when you talk about someone coming in and needing a lot of help and your team walking them through not only with the services, but the education like you're talking about, and getting them on the right track for a healthy future. Obviously, this happens every day, but give us one that pops into your head, and you don't have to name names, but just talk about a recent success story.
So this guy had been working in you get your oil changed down in the oil pit. So he didn't really have to converse very much with other people. And he said he really preferred not to because he was really embarrassed about his teeth. Unfortunately, we met too late to save them. We had to remove what he had left remaining and make some dentures. And that's a hard process for people to go through. Like, that's a big change. But he adjusted really well to his new dentures. And, the first time he looked in the mirror, it was with a big smile. And when we saw him later to check on him about 6 months later, he shared that he was now working at like a, Lowe's, Home Depot kind of place in the gardening section, that was his passion. And now he felt really comfortable that he could talk to customers about what they needed to be doing with their lawn and their garden. And to me, he was just a completely different person, so outgoing and friendly and confident. So a smile really can change everything.
On the education side, give us a couple of your go-to favorite tips and recommendations, and it can be around, brushing, flossing, nutrition, and what you eat. But what are a couple of your go-to favorite bits of advice for individuals and families to have good oral health care?
Yeah, I try to keep it really simple, like 2 minutes twice a day is like a minimum for cleaning your teeth. Electric toothbrushes are great, especially if you're a little lazy, but you can get it done with the plain old, kind. I really like water picks, for getting in between. Flossing is hard, and we all say we do it, but we often don't do it. But the water picks are really, really great, and it's like pressure washing your teeth. Like, it makes sense, right? In getting them all clean. Diet is a big part of things. So some of the more evils is in what we're drinking, because it's frequency more than quantity. So if we're sipping on something all day, that's going to do more damage. So things that bring the pH level in your mouth down, like sodas, sweet tea. Oh, we love sweet tea in Tennessee. All those things, sugar in our coffee. And if you sip all day, you are just feeding that bacteria all day long. So that's a big thing to watch. And then remembering that at nighttime, that's when the bugs in your mouth like to have a party. So that last cleaning before bed is really, really important. And surprisingly, staying hydrated. Lots and lots of water flushes all the bad stuff away in many ways for good overall health.
Let's talk about corporate support, ways the community can get involved. I know that Delta Dental of Tennessee, the Smile180 Foundation, obviously huge supporter for your efforts at Interfaith Dental, but talk about Delta Dental of Tennessee, talk about corporate support, talk about what that means to really support your efforts and allow you to do what you do in the community.
Yeah. So the Smile180 Foundation is our biggest donor and have been with us since the very, very beginning. We fit what their mission is, right, in serving. But there's a lot of other companies that we've partnered with that, aren't even healthcare related, but they see how what we do makes the overall community healthier. We're helping people be a stronger workforce, which is what all companies want and need. Everyone wants employees that are going to be able to come to work ready to go. And poor oral health can affect your concentration and your performance. So they see how important it is and how important it is for overall families to be able to thrive. The stress of someone in your family having oral health needs that can't be met is really strong, whether it's kids or spouses or whatever. So a lot of companies that are committed to the community have been involved because they've seen the impact.
Give us some ways that we can help. Obviously, financial contributions, extremely important, but what are the ways that we can help and support your efforts?
Right. Financial is number one. There isn't anything that we don't do that the cost is not paid for by the community. That's how we can operate. Now, we do charge patients. So it's on a sliding fee scale based on what their income is. So everybody's doing their part and they're paying, what they can. But if you've got a line on supplies that you think we might need, that's helpful. If you've got some other connections to a company that you think, gee, they should be involved, send them our way as well. And we still need volunteers too. So it's okay while you're at the dentist to ask them if they're involved or that you heard about the work that they were doing, and thank them if they are.
When you look at your role as CEO and goal setting and objectives, talk about some of your goals for 2024, and they can be for you personally with Interfaith Dental or obviously professional with your team, but what are some of your major goals for Interfaith Dental for 2024?
One of the ventures we're going more towards is using telehealth and teledentistry to be able to reach more people and be able to do it cost effectively. And that technology has come a long way. So we're hoping to do a big pilot this year looking how we can create some more access, because it is really hard to get to us even in getting the care. The other piece is around AI, and there's a lot of ways that we think AI can help us. Most obvious is as a second opinion, reading our x-rays for us, but also in lots of documentation that we do in healthcare. But most effective, I think, it's being able to tailor to each individual messaging that resonates with them about their oral health. So for you, we could create something that really spoke to you to remind you about keeping up with good oral health habits, et cetera. So there's lots of exciting things in that way, as well as using AI to help us communicate better, easier, cheaper with the community at large. So I think it's an exciting time to be where we're at.
Touch on, because you mentioned teledentistry and obviously AI, but touch on there's an initiative, Healthy Smiles Initiative with the state of Tennessee. And I know that Dr. Wink and Delta Dental Tennessee, a piece of that conversation around areas that are kind of like dental deserts, right? Like you don't have enough dentists in those areas to support the communities. And I think this is something that affects obviously Interfaith Dental. When you look at your role in the community to provide the service and to be able to help lift, talk about shortages in the field of dentistry and how that's impacting and kind of what your vantage point is around, that shortage in the community and how it impacts the community.
So it's a really great profession. So if anybody listening is thinking this may be a career for them, check that out, because it is great. But the reality is the distribution of dentists, a lot more dentists being found in cities than people going rural, right? So some of these things that we can do with technology could help improve the access. We're always going to need the dentist. The dentist is connected to the other end of the telehealth pieces, but if we can use it to help create more access points across the state, then we can limit the travel of some folks. So if they have to travel, to see the dentist, at least we can be better prepared on both ends. So I'm very hopeful with the Healthy Smiles initiative. There's some great things in that's going to help us encourage more dentists to be rural, but we have to be constantly looking at it from all angles.
Absolutely. And to your point, we have a niece who's graduated dental school, and it's like, it's a extremely needed and amazing profession to go in. And so we need more individuals going into the field of dentistry, because when you look at what it means to be able to serve and lift our communities, it's important. So wrap up with where we can go to learn more, to get involved with Interfaith Dental. So website, social media, where would you direct us to go to get involved?
Yeah, interfaithdental.com. And our Facebook page is, of course, just Interfaith Dental. And check us out. See what we're doing. Get involved.
Absolutely. Well, Rhonda, thank you for all you and your amazing team do at Interfaith Dental. Thank you for coming on the show.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services is proud to power the City Current Show. We're a people-first company that protects what matters most, the families, businesses, and trailblazers that keep our community going. As one of the nation's top independent insurance firms, Higginbotham is a single-source solution for business insurance, employee benefits, HR services, and personal insurance that's customized for you. We're here to serve you, the people you care about, and your community. Call 866-377-1959 or visit higginbotham.com.